Hello guys and welcome back to Sport is for the People. Today I'm joined by Matt.
Hello.
Hello, and joined by Tom.
Hello.
Hello, up the Argyle. Today we're going to be talking Plymouth Argyle and the promotion pie that is just beginning. So, Tom, how do you feel they performed this season before obviously COVID-19 interrupted it?
Well, we had a bit of a shaky start in some respects. At the start of the season, obviously we kicked it off well with the 3-0 win against Crewe. But then, we had a few wins, few losses along the way. And I was looking back earlier, and I think that up until that Exeter game, unfortunately, we lost 4-0 away. And everyone has said that was kind of where we really started to kick on in the season. Between, I think it was October and January type time, we won like 9 in 11 games. We lost to Swindon and Cambridge. After that Exeter game, I do feel that we really did kick on our season. We had a little bit of a rough patch in February, just before the Keats season got terminated. But we picked up, I think it was 6 points going in early March, 2 3-0 wins. So I think going into that Exeter game, we were full kind of steam ahead. And if we had won that one, I can't see any reason why we wouldn't have won the league.
No, I think you're right about the 4-0 loss. I think that gave them a bit of a kick up the arse, didn't it? And got to sort their shit out pretty sharpish. What about you, Matt? How do you feel the season went?
Again, I pretty much agree with Tom. We had a shaky start. Then we sort of picked up. Again, shaked. But I think, like Tom said, the Exeter game was that crucial moment for us when I think we thought, actually, it made us pull our fingers out a little bit and then think, actually, and then we went on a bit of a run and then I just don't think we looked back really.
It's a bit of a shame, really, I think, because, we beat Leyton Orient 4-0 before that Exeter game. So we went from winning 4-0 to losing 4-0 against our biggest rivals in this league. So, and our closest rivals. So it was a bit of a hard pill to swallow across the whole club, for the fans especially. But, I'm sure Rhino would have got the message across to the players how important, it was to bounce back from that and going forward with the season and how it, looked to finish, or, we were certainly up and around there. I believe, as I say, we would have been promoted either way, if not champions. But, he would have got that message across that we needed to sort it out. And thankfully they did, going forward.
Yeah, who do you, going to come to you both, who do you think was the player of the season? Obviously, there was one standout that a lot of people have pulled out, but is there any unsung heroes maybe, Tom?
I think everyone's kind of said Byron Moore was in with a shout. Palmer, I think it was 14 clean sheets in 37 games. You can't really argue with that at all. But I think what kind of probably tipped it over the edge for Sarcevic was, that little bit in the media, how he conducted himself whilst they weren't playing. In football these days, it's not just about what happens on the pitch. It is, social media is a big factor in the game, whether you like it or not. So for Sars to kind of take his own time in the lockdown, things like that, raise some money, not only, it's not just for Argyle, it was for the NHS and things like that. So I think that's probably what topped him over the other guys. But again, his performances on the pitch backed him up as well. So,
do you think he's going to stay?
It's hard to say. I think there's things. His wife's been seen selling things on Facebook. Someone else has said they've seen him in a full shop in Morrison, so he's staying. So that's football transfer rumours for you. You never know what's going to happen really. But I'd understand if he went. In some respects, back up home, Salford, probably paying him a decent wage packet. But I think he could prove himself in a League One team next year. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Matt, what do you think?
Again, agree with everything Tom said there about Andy Sarcevic. I think unsung-wise, I'd put George Cooper in there, just for the amount of sheer assists he got. And, just again, he was one of those, he wanted to play. Do you know what I mean? You could see it when he got on the pitch. He had his socks rolled down. He was like, I want to be here and I want to show what I can do. And, again, Palmer with his 14 clean sheets was, for me, not in a biased way, but I think he was probably the best keeper in the league. Mm-hmm. Again, you got Byron Moore, versatile, could play in numerous positions. But then going back to what Tom said, it was Sarcevic's, not just his attitude on the pitch, but his attitude off it, which is what I think sold it for him, because he is, on the pitch, he's one of those footballers that he'll run through walls for a team. He will, But then obviously, as I said, if he does leave, I'll respect it fully, because he's been such a great asset to this team, and for me, he's already a legend of the club anyway. So the things he's done, but like Tom said, I think Salford would probably pay him a decent wage. But does he want to prove himself in League One, or does he want to go home?
I think with Sars now as well. I don't know exactly how old he is, but let's put it that he's not the youngest player. So I think if he was to stay with us, it's his real chance to put a stamp on the end of his career as such. But then again, with Salford, the financial situation that they are in, they could well be up next year as well. So it'd just be a year delay. So it will come down to a personal decision, I think, more than anything. But Ryan Lowe's given everyone who he's offered a contract a week. I saw today.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
It's going to be nice not to have a summer full of is he going, is he staying, which we have in previous years. We're going to know in 7 days who wants to stay, who wants to go, and then it gives us a chance to rebuild going forward. If you talk unsung heroes, I think another one for me, Tom, with an IU would have been Niall Canavan, because I thought he had some great games this season. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Canavan, he came in last season, he probably looked a little bit shaky and a little bit thing, but this season I think Canavan's been awesome at the back there. I think he's been quality.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after Sonny Bradley left, there was a bit of a gap in that position. So it needed someone to step up and kind of take hold of it, grasp it with two hands. The opportunity was there. And that's what he's done. So, almost like you said, an unsung hero. He's definitely upped his game and put himself on the team sheet every week. And more than likely has Ryan Lowe's confidence in him.
Yeah, talking about that list you were on about, you brought it in nicely there. We'll go through that, shall we? I'll start with you, Matt. What do you think? I'm assuming you've seen the under contracts and the out of contracts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very glad Danny Mayer's agreed to sign a new contract. That's made me a little bit happier, because again, he may not have scored as many goals as people thought he would have, but he's been, just the way he plays his game is phenomenal. So it's a good sign. I'm ashamed. I'm sad, but I'm not surprised about Ryan Taylor, because I think injuries just took their toll on him in the end. And Joel Grant again, I think probably didn't put in the performances he could have put in, maybe. But again, it doesn't surprise me. Again, I'm sad to see him go, because he's a nice bloke, but at the end of the day, football is one of those businesses, and if the gaffer doesn't think you're cutting the mustard, then he's going to release him, isn't he? So.
Yeah, very true. Tom, what do you think? Do you think we should have made an effort to keep anybody, or?
I'm going to kind of just reiterate what you said there. It's sad to see players go. Ryan Taylor's put in some good performances for us over the years. Scored some important goals along the way as well. But with the aspirations that the club has, Simon Hallett has, Ryan Lowe has going forward with the club, you can't have, without being disrespectful to him, Deadwood on the team. His injuries are unfortunately affecting the way he can play, how many games he can play. In a position that we're going forward, League Two into League One, pulling power comes better with signings. We can get young loan signings on from Championship, Premier League clubs. We all know Ryan Lowe seems to have a good contacts around the football world. So, it's sad to see, especially Grant and Taylor go. But again, not surprised at all.
I fully agree with that, mate, to be fair.
It was just, that, as I say, I think it comes down to where the club wants to go within the next 5, even short term, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We don't want players who are injured constantly and things like that. So you thank them for their service, but it's the right decision to make, I think.
Yeah, I think obviously, like you said, 5 years' time, looking at hopefully cementing yourself in the Championship, aren't they? I think that's the plan. That would be the best thing in 5 years' time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where the Argyle fans have always wanted to be ever since, we dropped the leagues to League One, League Two. I think that's always going to be our goal. We'll have to see how next year turns out. The last thing I want to happen is for us to go down again. And I feel that isn't going to happen. But again, we don't know who's going to be playing for us, who's going to be playing for everyone else, and what impact coronavirus is going to have on football going forward as well. But I think with the financial side that we have with Hallett, Ryan Lowe's drive going forward, I can't see us getting relegated next season. No, mid-table, solid finish, that's what we're going to take and build again from there, I think.
No, we will touch on next season because I want to see what you guys predict. But during the transfer window, whenever that opens, is there any players you're hoping to either sell or bring in, Matt?
This is a very. There's not many players that I think we probably just have to rely at the moment, probably on, as Tom said there, loan signings maybe from the Championship perhaps, and the young lads coming in from possibly teams like Bristol Cities or whoever has got players for us. We were thankful for this season for having some top draw loan signings. Who were, let's face it, they were brilliant for us when they came in. All of them. So I think, there's players I'd like to come in, but obviously, if we could get them, then it's a different story. I'm not gonna speculate or name names because it's one of those things you just never know, do you? So.
No, it's tough. I also there's not many because it's like Championship standard and League Two, League One. There's so many names bandied about. It's not like you're talking about an Arsenal or a Chelsea where there's a top bracket. There's so many clubs. Like you said, Ryan Lowe's got contacts in Liverpool. Maybe you get some Liverpool youngsters in, which would be good.
Possibly Rangers, Gerard.
Rangers, yeah. Tom, what about you? Any names or anything?
Not particularly at the moment. I think it has been kind of overshadowed, especially in Argyle's circumstances with what's happened in League One. I think the transfer speculation and things has been overshadowed purely because nobody's actually known what's going on with the league itself, who's going up, people get relegated, things like that. I think over the next 2-3 weeks, you might start hearing a few rumours. But again, unfortunately, due to coronavirus, you don't know how it's going to pan out. Clubs are leaking money left, right and centre. So, marquee signings, is that going to be a thing? Not necessarily for Argyle, but for anyone. Is there any, the likes of going back to Salford, they may be able to pull a decent signing or two. But I think we'll have to see. Hallett has been very honest with us about the club's financial situation. So, what we'll have to wait and see is what he kind of goes through and releases to the fans again. And then what Ryan Lowe can do, work his magic and get us some loan signings. If he gets 4 players, 5 players that, are 2/3 of the players that we've had this season on loan, I'd be happy with that because, they've been outstanding.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sorry. I think you're bang on. I think it would be loan signings a lot, especially with the whole COVID-19 coronavirus thing going on. Money's not going to be available. So getting loan signings from Premier League or lower Premier League clubs is going to be your best bet.
And I know he's kept on a couple of the young lads as well, offered contracts to them. It may be a case where we have to build with those players. And, I think, again, it's not just us in that situation. It is going to be all League One, not all, but majority of League One, League Two clubs who are going to be in that position. So in the interests of young players coming up through the systems in clubs and, the younger players that are at the top clubs, it's going to be an important couple of years for them because they can really have a good chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, I think it could actually help the English game, couldn't it, in some respects? We will move on to next season and your hopes and dreams. I know, Tom, you touched on it. Matt, are you hoping for a steady mid-table? Are you hoping for promotion, or are you thinking relegation?
I think promotion might be a bit too ambitious at this stage, but I think with the manager of Ryan Lowe's calibre at the moment, I think he's proven himself in League One with Bury. He's been there and he's done it before, and I think mid-table, I would happily take that now. I mean, as I said, Lowe and Schumacher, they've got the credentials of doing it. Unfortunately, obviously, what happened with Bury is horrible. I mean, part of me is a little bit thankful because we got Ryan Lowe in, and I mean, what he did with Bury was phenomenal, and I think it wouldn't be wrong to aim for mid-table. I think promotion might be a bit too ambitious, but happily take mid-table. I mean, I don't think we'll get relegated. I don't think we will, and I can say that with a lot of confidence this time around.
Yeah, for once. Tom, you saying mid-table then? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody who gets promoted from League One, League Two going into League One into the Championship, and so on, a mid-table finish is what you've got to really look for. If you can stay away from that relegation battle in your first season, kind of prove yourself in amongst the league, and then you can look at building from there. Of course, we'd love to go up again. That would be, the dream as such. But realistically, get yourself decent position around the mid-table, even just a little bit lower. You don't mind necessarily, but when it comes to April or February, March, April time, you're sitting in a comfortable kind of position, not looking behind you, thinking we might be in this relegation battle. So I think that's what we'd have to take next season.
Yeah, I think Argyle are one of those teams that can probably spring a few surprises. I think these, what I call the bigger clubs of League One, you look at your Peterboroughs or I don't even know who else is in the league, to be fair. But you look at the teams like that. I think they're going to underestimate us a little bit actually as well.
I think there's still plenty of teams in League One who we are capable of beating. Even we had an awful season when we went down. I think we still showed some fight against some teams. We did pick up a couple of wins here and there. And now that we've kind of rebuilt a little bit, we're going forward. I think we can beat some of these teams and beat them convincingly.
Well, obviously with the whole COVID-19 thing, have you guys heard anything about the fans coming back in yet, or have you had any direction from the club?
I haven't, no.
No. How much of a blow would it be to potentially play behind closed doors, do you think, for the club, if that's even viable with obviously with the wages and stuff?
I mean, financially, everyone's going to struggle. I think that's why a lot of League One and League Two clubs push for the season to be finished, called off essentially and finished on the points per game basis, because they would be running at such a big loss to get these games running, having to take players off furlough, start paying them again. It would be ridiculous to do so. So, the next step going forward is going to be to try and structure the league and see if we're going to be able to get games. And, secondly, if fans are going to be there. But I can't see fans till next year, unfortunately.
No, I agree with that. I think especially for clubs like us, Argyle, you've got clubs like your Macclesfields and that in League Two. A lot of these clubs rely on gate receipts for their finances in general. So it's going to be a big loss for them, as well as obviously it's going to be hard for us not being able to go and watch the game, the team that we love. But I think the clubs are going to struggle financially because, you think a lot of their money comes through the gate receipts and people buying stuff at the games and the grounds and things like that. It's all I think it's all going to have a big domino effect on it as well.
Yeah, it could work its way down the leagues. Obviously, there's a lot of rumours of lower league clubs going bust. Do you think they could do something like film the games live and then whoever wants to watch it chip in a couple of quid to watch the game?
I think that would be a good idea. I mean, I've seen on Twitter a lot of Argyle fans there's been ideas that have been put to the club of people putting a voluntary amount as a direct debit into the club monthly, even whether that be £5, £10, £15, that is more than the club has got now. So they did release a statement saying that, the club is going to look into these ideas, and if we can back the club, I'm sure a lot of people will, because the last thing we want is to be in the position where we have been before. I think that's a long way off, but you look at shirt sales up 186% or something since last season, because I think that's the fans wanting to put their money into the club to try and keep us going as best as we can. So, we'll have to see, but I think eventually there will be ways of getting around it.
It's just having a big local fan base, isn't it? And Argyle have got one of the biggest, I'd say, in the League Two and League One area.
I think with the fans,
cool.
Yeah, I think with the fans giving, a donation and things like that, raffles, it's just going to be a kind of thing of damage limitation. It's not going to cover what we're losing, but it's going to be something that we haven't got at the moment. So, the club may say something going forward with that.
Yeah, I think that's something like you say, Keith, about small. Well, it's not small, but like being a local football club. We're not in one of those cities that have got more than one football team. We're not Manchester. We're not a Merseyside. We're not in one of those areas that have got more than one team. So it's nice because you're going to get more fans, because these football fans are going to want to watch this club. They're going to want to put their money in, and as you say, in things like shirts and even a point during half time. It all goes a long way to the club. And having and I think Argyle's fans are some of the best in the country. I really do. Yeah,
you get a lot of home and away fans, don't you? Thank you very much. I'd like to leave it there. It's been a good chatting to you. So thanks, Matt.
Right.
Cheers.
And thanks, Tom. And guys, if you did enjoy the video, give it a like and subscribe. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.